Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day. Police, injustice, it's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. But anyway,
Yes.
let's move on. What about hobbies? How does that play into self-care?
Hobbies. That's so much needed. You know, in life, we have to identify the difference between our demands and our priorities. Our demands are things that are important to other people. So we have to go to work. We have to make money. We have to pay bills. Those are demanding. Then we have our priorities. Our priorities are things that are important to us. So things like hobbies would fit into our priorities. Our hobbies are things that we do just for ourselves. We don't do them to please anyone else. We're not looking for anything in return from others, but it's all about ourselves. So a hobby could be playing volleyball, going out for a run, mastering something, you know, learning how to build something or do something like crochet and knitting. Those things help us really just have like that self-fulfillment and feel good about us.
Gotcha.
Those are our hobbies. We need hobbies.
Can I ask, what's one of your hobbies?
One of my hobbies, right now I'm getting into plants. So I'm becoming a plant mom. So my hobbies are looking up plants that I can actually have outside in my yard because we have like I'm gonna use the term infestation of deer in our community and they're everywhere. So I'm trying to be very mindful.
Y'all took our lands. What you talking about? Infestation?
Yeah. They're just coming coming more inland. We're in their area. But looking up things that I can actually have outside, looking at some house plants. So that is my thing right now. It's my hobby.
Right. You know, for me, my number one hobby is running. And I ran so much in high school. I ran so much in college.
Yeah,
when
same.
I first got out of school, I did not want to run. I would get on a bike. I would do anything but running. If I heard the pitter-patter of feet behind me, it would stress me out because it made me feel like I need to run faster. I'd be like, oh. But nah, I realized when I slowed down and I just started saying, you know what, I'm out here, I enjoy running and I'm just gonna run, I really started really appreciating running again. And it really helps me. And in fact, I would say it's almost like meditative for me to run. Just meditative because I'm in this zone. My heart is beating. I can feel the wind on my skin. I got the breezes going, and I got my soca music in the background. Hey, don't sleep on soca. That is some live stuff right there, y'all. But anyway, so I'm doing that, and it just feels so good, and all my cares and worries are like behind me.
Yes.
The other thing I might do is not listen to the music, turn it down or off, and just in the woods when I'm running, just listen to the birds and to the natural sounds of the forest. And by the way, studies have shown, y'all don't know this, that the bacteria in the wooded areas has an effect on the human body that actually helps us to lower our blood pressure.
Oh.
And it helps our brain goes to default mode, which meaning we don't have to be ruminating so much. So when we get into the wooded areas, it helps us to relax.
Yes, mindfulness. One thing in the moment, using all of your senses in the here and now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So what about the mind, the mental state? How self-care? How do we self-care for the mind? I know we've talked about the body.
Yes.
We've talked about hobbies. But let's look at how it influences the mind.
Okay, mindfulness. We can do different type of exercises. When it talks about self-care for the mind, those are things that we can just do to exercise certain parts of our brains, like crossword puzzles, coloring, things that really don't take a lot of stress So brain teasers, things like that. Coloring, like adult coloring books for those of you who would prefer adult coloring books. I like coloring cartoons still, as an adult. But any type of things that just allows your mind to just flow and just focus on one thing in the moment right now. Even washing dishes can be a form of mindfulness because you're only paying attention to, the water, how it feels, whatever songs you have, if you're playing music in the background or listening to things. For those of us who have windows at our sinks, looking out of the window, those are things that can just really put you into the moment.
Yes. You know, to add to that, I think a cognitive construct that's important for us is learning what we control and what we don't control, and being masters at the things we have the ability and gifts to control.
Yes.
Because trying to think that you can control everything in your environment will make it so difficult for you to self-care, because you won't have the time to do anything for yourself if you believe you can control everything.
That's right. Because you start feeling like I got to do this, I got to do that, and everything is on your to-do list. And you have to take care of everybody. You have to control everything, but then we tend to forget about ourselves.
Yeah. So with that being said, why do you think it's so difficult? I guess going back to that kind of earlier question, why do you think it's so difficult for people to make time to self-care? Because it's obvious, it's so important.
It is, but sometimes I guess people can, number one, the fear. Fear can really play a major role because we're looking at, if I take a moment to just think about how I feel, wow, what is that going to look like? If I just talk about, ooh, what do I need in this moment? What if I don't know what I need? What if I can't give myself what I need? What if I'm scared because I might cry or I might feel any type of negative emotions? So sometimes it can be hard to really slow down because we're afraid of what's going to happen if we get out of that flight or fight mode. What happens then? So no, I just got to keep going. I got to keep avoiding, and not really dealing with myself.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So yeah, we don't deal with ourselves. Do you think some part of it? So when I hear you say that, I feel like you're saying to some degree that people may struggle with this idea: if I don't do this right now or take care of this right now, then everything will just fall through the cracks.
Yes.
If I'm not the vanguard, everything will just go wrong.
Yes.
I work with a lot of mothers, and many times I hear them say, I don't know when I can take time for myself because there's always something for me to do, or this got to be taken care of, the kids got to need this, or my boyfriend or husband need this, my mother need that. I don't know when I can really do anything for myself. But then in listening to them also, it feels like they always offer themselves oftentimes to things that makes it harder for them to have time for themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And when we see that in our clients, the good way that I usually just kind of get my clients to gain more awareness to that is I just say, like, what would happen if you didn't do it? I understand if someone asked you to help decorate for the baby shower, but worst case scenario, what will happen if you said, no, I'm unavailable or I'm not feeling well today? And a lot of times they think like, oh, then they're going to be mad at me. And then we get into the fear. If we practice self-care and we focus on controlling ourselves and nurturing ourselves, that might mean that we have to say no to other people if we're choosing us. And what would the fallout look like? We start to feel like I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough. Am I enough for them? Am I being a good person? In society, we are taught to be good people. We strive off of rewards. We go to school, we want good grades. We want to please mommy and daddy. It's all about pleasing other people and being good enough.
Right.
But if we take the time for ourselves and set those limits, will we still be good enough?
Exactly. Will we still be good enough? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. We talk about that some more.
Yes.
So, in closing this discussion, if we could give some pieces to help people with self-care, what would be some suggestions that you would have for them?
Okay. Self-care starts with giving yourself the permission. Giving yourself that acknowledgement that, yes, I do need to add myself to my to-do list today. I need to put myself on my calendar. I have to set an alarm in my phone that says, take care of me. Just like in an iPhone, they have the things and they say, breathe. Those little reminders, it's okay to set those reminders if we tend to forget, but also giving yourself the grace as we are moving into doing something different, as we are moving into nurturing ourselves and being more aware of our body's needs, that it is okay to give yourself grace, because every day is not going to be the same. Every day you may not give yourself the time for self-care, or your self-care may be limited a little bit. So we're looking at the awareness, we're looking at giving yourself the grace, and just knowing every day isn't going to be the same.
Exactly. I love it. And I just want to emphasize again that, of course, it's not just going to the spa. It's not just getting your nails done. No, it's exercise. It's eating. It's sleeping. It's stretching.
Yes, and going to the doctor.
Going to the doctor.
If you don't believe in, doctors, what about going to a holistic practitioner? Doing something that can help you maintain your body. Get a physical, no one's saying like I'm telling you to go get on all these medications. A lot of people don't believe in that, but at least get a physical to get an idea and a scan of what's going on in your body. Then it's up to you to figure out how you want to heal that and how you want to continue to strengthen your body. But we have to get away from the negative stigma of, if I go to the doctor, that means I'm going to be diagnosed with something or something bad is going to happen. At least know what is your blood pressure. You can get your blood pressure checked at the pharmacy.
Exactly.
What's your blood pressure? What's your blood sugar? What's your cholesterol?
Exactly.
We need to know those things.
Exactly. We need to know those things. I learned a long time ago that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if I do things like go to the doctor on a regular basis, like, come on, brothers, we need to do better with that. That we can avoid a lot of serious conditions.
Yes.
We can extend our lives, the quality of life, just by going to the doctor on a regular basis, getting our routine checkups. And by the way, also not just going, but being honest about what we're feeling. Because sometimes we'll go to the doctor and we'll have things going on with our bodies, but we won't say nothing. And like they supposed to just know, like they supposed to just read us and understand. And then when things get worse, we blame the doctors, but we never spoke up.
Right.
And that's that old, thinking error that of denial and avoidance.
Yes.
And then what happens, the problem gets bigger and gets worse. And then we don't understand why, but we just been avoiding it. So be honest. Look, if you feel sore in the side of your big toe, tell them I feel sore in the bottom side of my big toe, so they can help you. Don't just go in there and act like, oh, everything's fine, I'm good. Oh, it's cool, boom. So they check you, you move on out of there, and you feel like the doctor hasn't done you any good. You didn't tell them nothing. Just like when people come to therapy, let's put it out there too.
Yes.
Just like when people come to therapy, they want to come to therapy and they want to be like, oh,
Fix me.
fix
I'm
me.
here.
Yeah. This
And we're like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
what are
what's
your
wrong?
symptoms?
What's going on? They don't really tell you nothing. Oh, in my second show, Motivation for Change, I talked about these 3 types of clients. The boxer.
Oh, yeah.
They come in like they seem they ready to talk about their issues. But when you start really trying to touch on their stuff, they swinging at you. They getting all defensive. The knight, the one that comes in all nice and shiny, they got their status
armor.
and prestige, and they think they the everything, but they hide behind that stuff and don't really want to address their issues. And of course, the ninja, that one that they come in like they really want to do something, right? But they already made up in their mind that they're going to be slick, they're going to be up a tree somewhere, hiding in the dark with a star, and they're going to try to disrupt the whole operation. That happens a lot in couple stuff. That's why that's so hard, man. I want people just to admit that they're ninjas.
Okay.
Just let us know you don't really want to do this. But anyway, yeah, we need to be honest so we can get better. Obviously, with that being said, I know it's important for us to set boundaries, and we want to talk more about that in our next episode.
Yes.
Because in order for us to self-care, we need to set boundaries so we can have time to take care of ourselves. Because we have to take the time to do it.
Yes.
If you don't take time to self-care, then it won't happen. And in the long run, you won't be happy. We can't live our life mechanically, just doing things and experiencing things and not taking care of ourselves because we're not a machine. And even machines break down. So y'all, take some time out to self-care, and we'll talk more about boundaries in our next episode. Thank you,
All
Niesha,
right. Thank
and we'll be back.
you.
Y'all have
See
a
you
nice
later.
Bye, y'all.